IKONINI. So leo ndio the deadline ya public participation ikikam to history ya the clerk of the Senate kutuuliza views zetu juu ya the extension of term limits za the president, governors, MPs, MCAs, blah blah blah. So jana kuna vile umse anaitwa Aden Duale aliamua abaki amepost about it just kutry kutucheza kutuonyesha that the government is not behind this. So kile Duale alibaki ameduni alishare video ya Ruto afu akaandika let's respect the constitutional term limits set by the people on 4th of August 2010 referendum. Alafu mimi nika tweet hapo niko nimeandika this is not how he was dressed today, so hii ni mchezo ya town. Because vile Ruto alikuwa dressed today inamaanisha saa Thursday ni very different. Na hii video ile nani alibaki amepost ukitaka kujua vile say wana try to change the constitution. This happened when Ruto had been in power for 2 months. Sikia hijo. For 2 months and 3 days only. After 2 months and 3 days of Ruto in power, we were already discussing about him changing the term. Now to extend term limits. Kumbuka, for 10 years ya Kibaki we never had this. For 9 years and 5 months za Uhuru we never had this. As a matter of fact, Uhuru alikuwa anashinda akiambiwa wewe maliza uende. Then umse after 2 months and 3 days. 2 months and 3 days. Tayari walikuwa nabonga juu ya ku-extend term limits. Like, I don't know if you know how crazy that is. So, let's go back to Ruto after 2 months and 3 days in power.
And while I encourage everybody to enjoy and to use that democratic space, while we believe in democracy and everybody is free to say everything they want to say, but I also want to say that while enjoying that freedom, and I will not ask anybody not to say whatever they want to say, but on matters changing the constitution, I want to tell you that the discussion on changing the constitution for parochial, selfish, personal matters is no space to go.
Stuko umecheki how many times amejiguza masikio, nini lip yake, move microphone. Unajua, like, these are all telltale signs of someone who's lying. I'm not even a body expert, but I can tell you that this thing is simple. When you're saying the truth, unasemaga, I've heard some nonsense that some people want us to change the constitution. That's nonsense. We are not going into that. Let's move on to the next thing. Nacheki. So when you see someone licking their lips and trying to be LL Cool J, na hapo wanafikiria juu ya vitu kama hizi na hizi, baki umenotice umse kuna vile like he's lying. He just get to the point. So that's like one of the things ile neza sema juu yake, cause imeni remind vile like back in the days vile Obama alibaki amekujaga Kenya, kuna time walikuwa na bonga na Uhuru, alafu akibonga na Uhuru, of course stories za gay rights zikabaki zime come up, and you can try and see what Uhuru said and then try and compare vile Uhuru alikuwa na bonga na vile Ruto alikuwa na bonga.
Just like President Obama, I think we also need to be able to speak frankly about some of these things. And the fact of the matter is that Kenya and the United States, we share so many values. Our common love for democracy, entrepreneurship, value for families. These are things that we share. But there are some things that we must admit we don't share. Our culture, our societies don't accept. It's very difficult for us to be able to impose on people that which they themselves do not accept. This is why I repeatedly say that for Kenyans today, the issue of gay rights is really a non-issue. We want to focus on other areas that are day-to-day living for our people.
Macheki ilikuwa like precise and to the point. Hakukuwa na and don't forget Obama was seated there. Obama was standing right next to him. So there's a certain level of intimidation when the most powerful man is standing right next to you, and you need to play ile kuzuni mtu anataka kufurahishana nini. So to come back to our say, so lately if you've noticed on Twitter, they've been there distancing themselves from story ya Cherargei. But you have to ask yourself, if they really mean this, kwa nini Ruto hajapigia Cherargei akamwambia acha ujinga? Macheki, acha ujinga. Because every time that this story comes up, we never blame Cherargei. We always blame the president. We always like, if you see a dog barking, you have to wonder who's the owner. And we know the owner wa Cherargei ni nani. So hizi ma statements zote wanatrai kutoa. Because like kuna pia nani, umsaitwa Kimani Ichung'wah alibaki ameandika, that Cherargei legislative proposal on term limits is dead on arrival. Period. He should save his own time and that of senators and taxpayers' money. Try to imagine a referendum. We are going to use millions because Ruto wants to stay in power forever. We are going to use millions. Hatuna do ya referendum. Saizi, try to imagine Cherargei gets his way and we need to go to a referendum. And Ruto says, hatuna budget ya referendum saizi. Let's do the referendum later. Is anyone going to protest in the streets that they want a referendum? Unless referendum ni ya kupush term chini. So we don't have the budget for this. So hii ujinga yote wanatuambia hapa, hii ni kutucheza. These people want to change the constitution. And anyone who thinks that they are joking is actually anajicheza. Because naweza kutake back pia to October 3rd, 2024. Ilikuwa ni UDA owns Cherargei bill on 7-year term for president and MPs and calls it repugnant. And I'll keep asking you this. First of all, the first time that this thing came up, Ruto had been in power for 2 months and 3 days. Kuna msenisikia akitetea Ruto akisema Ruto na Cherargei hawajaipatana. So according to wewe, if you are watching this, Ruto na Cherargei hawajapatana since 2022 mpaka leo. For Ruto to tell him, just shut up. Shut up. Acha hii mambo ya kuniongeza term. Washapatana. And if it's up to Ruto, he's going to change the constitution. Is it going to be possible? I still think it's going to be possible. Kuna boy fulani nilichekia akisema that I'm involved in Luo bashing. I'm not involved in Luo bashing. I'm just saying that Luo kuna kuwaga na history ya cult worship. And even when I talk about cult worship, I also like going into specifics. Right now, if you go and utafute anaitwa Opiyo Wandayi, you'll see the pictures that he posted yesterday, and he'd gone to somewhere with Ruto, and you can see how happy he was. And this is the reason why I'm worried that if such a person akiambiwa that Ruto has to extend his term for him to keep smiling like this, they are going to support it. And don't forget that these people, there are a lot of illiterate people in Kenya, and when these illiterate people see Opiyo Wandayi there, like looking at his watch na Ruto, and don't forget watch za Ruto zinakuwaga expensive, so I'd want to know, like kwa sababu najua ku research, tell me how expensive is this watch that Opiyo Wandayi is wearing. Niambie nijo, I don't know how much, but I'm sure with such fine things, unajua kuna sopendaga vitu kama hizo, yani vitu za kidem, yani vitu za shiny hands and shiny nonsense ani wase wanaweza kubali constitution ichenjiwe so that they stay in government. Kwa kuna kuogana hii bullshit ya tunataka kuingia serikali. Serikali inafaa kuwa for everyone. Haifai kuwa kuna watu wanaingia kwa serikali. We should always strive to strengthen institutions. So I'm still worried that the constitution might be changed, and I'll not believe this nini UDA nonsense hiyo wanasema hapa nje. Kwa say pia lazima ujue the amount of looting that they are doing, are they ready for someone else to take over power? Because don't forget, these are the same people who are harassing Uhuru. Unakumbuka mpaka ile time Uhuru akichocha nani akimwambia kuja come and arrest me. Unakumbuka ile time Uhuru the Northlands farm ikidvediwa. So they know that former presidents are touchable. Unajua? Like if yes, former presidents are touchable. No did they. And no did they. Yani ni kubaya hivyo. So with that in mind, I don't think that we should take this lightly. Kama hujatuma nini yako nzabaki umeituma, like your email. I already sent my email. I try to keep it as respectful as possible, and but Cherargei place yote huko matako ya siafu wewe iko nene.